Hi there, and in this video we are going to be discussing the following question. Should you actually use an external code editor, at least in the case of game development? Now, you should at least consider using an external code editor in game development if one, the engine you use doesn't have a built-in code editor such as Unity, because if you're using this engine, you probably already know for sure that it doesn't have some kind of built-in code editor. So if you actually want to create a script or modify the code, the C# code, okay, you will need to actually install and set up correctly an external code editor, VS Code, Visual Studio, whatever. So in that case, you must use a code editor, okay? You should use an external code editor also if the one that the engine has is inefficient or is not integrated fully with the engine itself. This is something that we're going to be seeing in just a minute in terms of Godot C# that doesn't have full support. But well, once again, if the code editor of the engine that you're currently using for some reason or in some specific language is not integrated fully into the engine, then you should definitely consider using an external code editor. And a third reason is the fact that maybe you don't like the colors of the code editor or any other feature that maybe you don't like. So that's why maybe use an external code editor that gives you more control over that things could be seen as a better option. However, you also have to know that usually code editors in engines, they are super easily customizable. They allow you to change literally anything from font size, colors, etc. But the thing is that this can take up some time because you have to be playing around with some colors. Maybe you have to research some color combinations, some that people have created, for example, or whatever. But well, the thing is that it usually takes up some time. But well, the thing is that with external code editors such as Visual Studio Code has a huge catalog, a huge marketplace with hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of extensions with different themes that literally in just 1 second and pressing the button, it will change completely the theme color. So let me show you this actually. This is a Visual Studio Code, probably the most used code editor, one of the most used. This is just my portfolio website, so let's not pay attention to the code, it doesn't really matter. And you have here extensions, okay? I actually have like a lot of them installed, and most of them are just themes, okay, that I have installed, or well, for other dependencies that I need. But if I go here to the settings tab over here, what I will find is themes, okay, and I can press here color theme, or it even has its own shortcut. And well, these are all the things that I have here installed. I have here one Dark Pro, but what I can say, I have like tons of them that literally, check this, in 1 second I've completely changed the looking of my code editor. I can do this once again. Let's choose this one, and I have a completely different theme. And well, this is how easy it is to actually change everything in terms of the colors of the code editor. And this is something that usually in game engines, these kinds of themes, at least in the built-in code editors of engines, they aren't included, okay? And basically an external code editor gives you much more control over this. And also another reason maybe you would also want to use an external code editor that I am adding to a list right now is the fact that if you are used to using some kind of external code editor because of other languages or technologies that you use, for example, if you code your own portfolio, website, or whatever, you probably already use Visual Studio Code or any other code editor. So for some people, it may be the case that you prefer to have everything centralized in just using the exact same piece of software to write your code. Instead of having, okay, I write my HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code in Visual Studio Code, and my game development code, I code it inside of Godot or GameMaker. Now, you may not actually use an external code editor if the engine that you use actually has an efficient built-in code editor. You actually like it, and in general doesn't limit your workflow. It allows you to customize the colors easily, or well, you have no problem with colors and you don't really care. And it does have full integration with the engine and with the programming language. For example, talking more specifically about if using a external code editor in Godot, it really depends. If you use GDScript, okay, basically the default Godot programming language, in most cases, generally I would say that it isn't. Because basically the default Godot text editor is seamlessly integrated with Godot, which just makes things easier because you get reference to nodes, reference to functions and everything without any kinds of bug or error or a warning or whatever, because it is fully integrated since the right beginning of the engine, so everything works flawlessly. And also it is quite easily customizable. You have a whole settings in Godot to actually modify the code editor. So for example, I will go ahead here and create a brand new script. I will create it with the default template so that we do have some code. And well, these are the default colors. But if I go to editor settings, and here I have, well, first I have the theme, like the general theme of Godot. If I change this stuff, for example, let's make this like red or whatever, and let's give it a second. So there we have, so of course this color is super bright, okay, but it did change the color of the code editor a little bit. But the most important option that I want to show you is here in the text editor. You have here theme, and you have also here, for example, a custom themes, okay, so you can create your own one. And here you can literally modify everything. You can modify symbols color, keyword color, control flow, keyword color. You can modify literally every single color over here that it appears. So indeed, it is quite easy to customize this. Now the situation is quite different if you are using C# inside of Godot, basically the mono version of the engine, because it is actually necessary. It is a must to run C# code in Godot. Because as it is stated in the Godot documentation, C# support in Godot's built-in script editor is minimal. So if you actually try to code in C# inside of Godot, you will get poor autocompletion, debugging, and other useful features for C#. So why would you how to put to deal with this lack of features if you can just install and quite easily set up a brand new external code editor? And in terms of options of code editor, there are actually a lot out there that you can check out. Probably the easiest one, and probably the one that you have seen the most in tutorials, if you have actually seen tutorials for that are using some kind of text editor, is probably Visual Studio Code, because it is super user friendly. It has, like as I told you, a brand marketplace of hundreds and hundreds of extensions that you can install. Changing the theme is a piece of cake. So yes, this is all for today's video. If you actually liked it, I really recommend that you subscribe to the channel, because I am always uploading new content. So probably this content will help you grow as a developer. That's my main aim. See you in the next one, and bye bye.